Good morning, everyone, at Tushita and online. I thought I would first briefly introduce myself because many of you might not know who I am. So my name is Nico, and I've been around for 10 years, mainly in Dharamshala, Bodh Gaya, Kathmandu, and then the Lamas sent me at Nalanda Monastery, where I studied for 5 years in France. And now I've been back in India for a year, here in Delhi, studying with Geshe Damdul at Tibet House. And so I will be guiding meditations at Tushita Delhi every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning at 9 a.m. Indian time. So we will start with sitting in a good posture. So probably you all know the Vairocana 7-point posture. Most important thing is the back to be straight. If possible, sit on the floor with your legs crossed. The best would be in full lotus posture with your left leg over the right. But of course, if it's difficult for you to sit on the floor, you can always sit on a chair as long as your back is straight. And if the full lotus is difficult, you can simply do a half lotus or cross your leg or sit comfortably. Then the second thing is your hands should be in the meditative mudra. So you have your right hand sitting on the left hand and the two thumbs slightly touching, and they can rest on your lap. The most important is to have your back straight, neither too bent nor leaning forward. The shoulders should be relaxed and open, and your neck aligned with the spine in natural position, slightly the chin slightly towards downwards, and then the tongue towards the upper palate behind the upper teeth, as to reduce saliva as much as possible. And then finally, your eyes should not be closed if possible. They should be slightly open and gazing forward. So today we will start with setting up a motivation of Bodhicitta. And then we will move on to calm abiding practice. So shamatha, single-pointed meditation. So today we will use the sevenfold cause and effect method to generate bodhicitta. And preliminary to that is equanimity. So you can try to visualize all sentient beings around you. People you like, your friends, your family, people you don't like, so-called enemies. And then all the people you actually don't know, neutral people. Try to visualize all of them as clearly as possible. And think that actually all of them, no matter you consider them as friends, enemies, or strangers, all of them actually want happiness, and none of them wants to suffer. This is something all sentient beings have in common. We all share that wish to be happy. And we all try to run away from miseries. So this is usually the main motivation behind all of our actions. We are all equal in that way. You can also consider former lives, past lives, and think that in all those lives, all sentient beings have been your friends. And equally, all sentient beings have been your enemies. All sentient beings have benefited you, and all sentient beings have harmed you. Therefore, since their motivation is to be happy and avoiding suffering just like you, there is no actual reason to discriminate. Consider that some are friends, some are enemies, some are strangers. So try to generate a sense of equanimity towards all sentient beings. Then the first step of the sevenfold cause and effect method to generate bodhicitta is to remember that all sentient beings have been your mother. So the Buddha indicated us that we have been reborn again and again since beginningless time. We cannot find a first life. We have been circling in samsara since beginningless time. Therefore, it's only logical to think if I had countless lives and there are countless sentient beings, it's only mathematical to conclude that at some point, each and every sentient being has been my mother. It helps if you didn't have a good relationship with your mother in this present life. Then you can extend that to think that all sentient beings have been your best friend, all sentient beings have been your grandmother. Basically, the point is that all sentient beings have been so kind to you. This is the next point of the sevenfold cause and effect method, to remember the kindness. You can think of your mother of this life or the person who took care of you. Can you imagine as a baby? If you leave a baby in a room without any care, any attention, how long will it survive? Think of all the hardship your mother endured for 9 months. Then the pain of delivering of you, feeding, waking up at night to take care of you. How unkind. And all sentient beings have done this for us in countless past lives. The late Lama Zopa Rinpoche, whose name is difficult to pronounce, who has been kinder to us than all the 3 times Buddhas, used to say, you can think of a past life where you've been a baby bird and imagine your mother feeding you, creating so much negative karma in order to feed you by getting some insects, some worms, just to feed you. How unbelievably kind. And how many lives you will have to suffer because of the karma created of killing other sentient beings to feed you. To remember the kindness of the mother, you can also think, you know, if you watch, for example, National Geographic Channel, you can see some animals like zebras, like a baby zebra being attacked by a lion or a tiger. Immediately, without any second thought, the zebra mother will sacrifice her own life to save the life of the child, of the baby zebra. How unbelievable. So try as much as possible to remember the kindness of your mother of this life and imagine the kindness you receive from all sentient beings in former lives. The next step is to repay the kindness, generate the wish to repay this kindness. So all sentient beings, all our dear mothers have been so kind to us. So naturally this wish comes. I have to repay this kindness. How can I do that? My mothers they want to be happy, they don't want to suffer. So of course, I want to give them all the mundane happiness, all the help they gave me. I want to repay this. But try to think further. All sentient beings, just like me, are trapped in the vicious prison of cyclic existence. From beginningless lives, suffering of pain, being trapped, suffering of change. We don't have any control. We don't have any choice. But now I have met the teachings, the holy teachings of the Buddha. So I wish to repay the kindness so that they don't suffer anymore at all, so that they be forever happy. And extend that wish to every near and dear sentient being. This is the next step. Bring all sentient beings close to you. Think how you love your siblings, your parents, your friends. Try to generate this sense of closeness for all sentient beings, leaving none aside. Even the most tiny ant, even the ugliest spider or scorpion, they all have been our mother. They all have been so kind. They are so near and dear, and now is the time to repay the kindness. Let's generate a great wish for them to be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. This is the next step, compassion, great compassion. Due to afflictions and karma, we are all trapped in this vicious prison of the mind, cyclic existence, samsara. Continuously, we are taking rebirth without control, suffering of pain, suffering of change, endlessly. How unbearable to think all my dear mother sentient beings are experiencing so much pain, so much sorrow, so much suffering. Try to generate this strong wish. Even if you have to force yourself a little bit, it doesn't matter if it's not genuine compassion. The whole point of this meditation is to familiarize ourselves with these thoughts again and again. May all my dear mother sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. Abide in this thought for a while. Generating this wish alone is amazing. It's such a beautiful wish, such a beautiful mind, wishing all sentient beings to be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. This compassion is the key that opens the door to happiness. With compassion, the whole Buddhist path becomes possible. But devoid of compassion, all is lost. Compassion is so important. Now, greater than this wish is the next step. Altruistic intention. The wish that I myself will take responsibility. I myself will liberate all sentient beings from suffering and the causes of suffering. I myself will lead all sentient beings to ultimate happiness. Now I have this very precious human rebirth. I have this incredible opportunity. I have a human body, all my senses. I live on a planet where the Buddha appeared 2,600 years ago. The Buddha turned the wheel of Dharma. He gave all the teachings for so many years. The teachings are still very much alive. There are followers of the Buddha. There are great teachers. His Holiness the Dalai Lama, for example, truly living Buddha on this earth, tirelessly giving teachings. I have all these freedoms, all this fortune. So it is my responsibility to take the chance in this life to free myself and to free all my dear mother sentient beings from suffering and its causes. Give a strong intention. Abide in this thought for a while. May I free all sentient beings from suffering causes. I will do whatever I can to relieve sentient beings from misery. But how can I do that? My own mind is afflicted. My own mind is afflicted by ignorance, constantly running after temporary pleasures, constantly distracted. How can I help all my dear mother sentient beings to be free from suffering if I myself in the first place am not free from suffering? I don't know how to help them. First of all, I have to get rid of all my mental afflictions, all my obscurations. Obscurations to freedom of suffering, the afflictions, the afflictive obscurations, as well as in order to be able to help sentient beings perfectly, I need to get rid of all cognitive obscurations, obscurations to knowledge, obscurations to omniscience. Can we think of a person in the history of humanity who was able to do that, who was able to get rid of all these obscurations and help sentient beings perfectly by teaching them the path? We can think 2,600 years ago, Prince Siddhartha, who became Buddha Shakyamuni. He had perfect love, perfect knowledge, perfect power to help others. So this is the way. This is the final step of this Bodhicitta meditation. Generate a strong wish. Give rise to the most beautiful mind in the universe. May I become a Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. You can pronounce these words with me. May I become a Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become a Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. So on the basis of this motivation, we will do a 5 minutes single-pointed meditation. So again, look at your posture, make sure your back is straight. Remember the 7 points Vairocana posture we went through at the beginning. And most probably you have received instructions before. I will just quickly mention them again. So single-pointed meditation means taking one object to mind and giving it your full attention. It doesn't mean having no thoughts. It doesn't mean having an empty mind. You take one object. If you have been meditating before, take the object you are familiar with. If not, you can visualize a small drop of light between your nose and your upper lip. If it helps, you can touch this area first and try to put all your attention there, visualizing a small drop of light. And with mindfulness, put all your focus there. The second point is to identify the errors of meditation. So it's very important to introspect, to check your mind. Am I meditating? The two errors are distraction. Suddenly you start thinking, what am I going to do this afternoon? What did I do yesterday? This is the first error. And the second is laxity, like becoming dull, falling asleep. So focus your mind on your object and make sure you don't lose the object. That's the third point. The antidotes to these two errors of meditation. As soon as you notice, make the effort to notice that your mind wanders, is not on the object anymore. Immediately as you notice, bring back the mind to your object and make sure your mind stays there. So we'll try this for 5 minutes. Gently come out of the meditation. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly become a Buddha in order to benefit all my dear mother sentient beings without leaving one aside. May the supreme mind of Bodhicitta that has not a reason arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish, but increase more and more. We chant it in Tibetan as well. For those who know, feel free to chant along. Join Josem Jorim Boje, Ma Ge Banam Ge Gyoji, Ge Banyam Ba Me Bayam, Gone Gone Be Warajo. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may there be no wars, famines, epidemics, fights, natural disasters. May peace and harmony prevail. Thank you very much, everyone. On Friday, I'll try to leave a few minutes at the end of the session for questions in case you have any question about meditation. Today, unfortunately, we are a bit late. So Friday, see you at 9 a.m. And for those who are in Delhi, feel free to join in person. We have started again now meditations in person every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. And on Tuesday and Thursday, online on Zoom, and the time is different. I think it's at 7:30. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a beautiful day.